launch of the Dutch chapter of the All Ladies League and our very first Women Economic Forum. May I please request our guests of honor to join me here on stage. I'm not sure if everybody has arrived yet, but Mr. Carsten Klein, if you could please take a seat. His Excellency Mr. Stulinga. Yes. His Excellency Mr. Mukul. His Excellency Mr. Diop, I believe is not here yet. Nor Mr. Kabaranga. Her Excellency Judge Sanchi Monageng. And Her Excellency Judge Joyce Aluor. Mr. Anton Phillips. Saw you a minute ago. Mr. Anton Phillips, would you like to join us? I thought I'd seen you. Mrs. Pamela Hack? No. Mrs. Mariette Verhoef-Cohen? Yasmina Azari? And Mrs. Solange Domey. I understand that there's been a lot of trouble at Central Station, excuse me, for those coming by train. So they will join us, I am sure, when they are ready. Warm welcome, Excellencies, distinguished dignitaries, most valued sponsors, visitors from afar, and there are many, speakers, and all of you motivated to be here today to contribute to this Women Economic Forum on the crucial theme of the EU, reinventing itself, women, empowerment, and inclusion. I shall very rapidly introduce myself as I have the honor to be your MC for the next 2 days. My name is Julie Kennedy. I'm British, brought up in France, and to date have lived in 21 different places, mostly Africa and Europe. I have my own company called KPC&C about communicating and connecting. I also have the honor to be the president of the Women's Business Initiative International here in The Hague, which is an association for international women entrepreneurs. And we serve as a service point for all people in The Hague wishing to start a business. Before moving on to the agenda, I shall be very scholarly and ask you to check you have turned off your mobile phones. I know we all think we have, but we often get surprised. To the agenda, the opening ceremony runs till 10 a.m., which will be followed by a break. At 10:30 we resume, and as you will have seen from the program, it's a very ambitious and very rich program. There are 5 sessions running in parallel all through the day, so do check where you wish to be for your next one. One of the sessions will be here in this room. The others are in Kilimanjaro 1 and 2 and Yangtze 1 and 2. Now, I shall get to the important part of the business, and I have the utmost delight in presenting the heart, the brain, and the soul behind this event, chairperson of the Dutch chapter of the All Ladies League and organizer of this Women Economic Forum, Mrs. Sukai Cisse.
Hello. I think my mic is on. Yes. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Today is not about me. Today is about everybody. And today is about having my soul sister and my soul sisters here. The important part of today is to connecting women. We have a Women Economic Forum. This is the launch, and this is also the inauguration. And I'm very delighted to have everybody here today, every single one. And we would like to thank our sponsors. We would like to thank the City of Den Haag, because without the City of Den Haag, today will not be possible. And we would like to thank AT&T. We would like to thank our outreach partners who made this possible, the American Women's Club, the Women's Business Initiative International, Connecting Women. You will get to see every single one of them, because when All Ladies League came to the Netherlands, Harbeen is somebody that when you meet her, and I don't have to introduce her much because you will get to see what I'm talking about. When All Ladies League bit me, the bug and the venom stayed inside, and so therefore today happened. So everybody else in the Netherlands who basically opened their hands to say, okay, we're ready for this to start in the Netherlands, this is for you. And this would not be possible if it wasn't for the collective positivity, the sisterhood, and wanting to take another person by the hand and move them up to the next place. This is what All Ladies League is all about. This is what Women Economic Forum is looking to everybody. We live in the world where everybody is looking for a source. Everybody's looking for the light. Everybody's looking for the energy that gives them life that feels like nothing can stop again. The energy that you have inside of yourself is connected to the greater source. You don't have to look so much further because the candle needs to be lit. And when it lights up, another light can come and connect to it, and you're not losing light. So your positive energy, your radiance, what makes you true, you cannot forget it while you're seeking. And with that, I want you to just connect to the next light, to the next sister, to the next person that needs to go to the next place. And we will have our ceremony later to show you how we are all connected together. So the source, the truth, the light that you're going into, you will connect to yourself. And then you can connect to the next person. And this is how All Ladies League, this is what Women Economic Forum is all about. And then we take our energies to the whatever industry that we come from. The ladies who are there, the gentlemen who are there, you connect with them. And then your true self connects to their true self. And this is how the radiance of light is going to be blinding so much. It doesn't matter where you are. You can see it from space. And because you started with lighting your own energy and connecting to the ones next to you without losing an essence of your own. But you don't have to forget about the ones that you already have, because the minute you forget about the light that burns inside of you. Just imagine if the candle is turned off. Can another candle light from it? No. So that means you're taking others' energy. So keep your energy radiant. Stay true to yourself. And that's how you will connect to the greater source. But today is about everybody. Today is about having you be part of something great. And I would also like to turn my attention to introducing my soul sister, Miss Harbeen, because the bringing about of All Ladies League, and I talk about connecting to your soul sister, connecting to your light. The first time I saw Harbeen, I got introduced to the All Ladies League, the energy that she gave me is not something that I stole from her. She added to my energy. And then I stayed connected with her. And then I brought wanted to bring All Ladies League to the Netherlands. And she said, whatever is possible is what is going to happen, and you're not going to force it. And I did not force it. And so today, I want you to be introduced to Harbeen. I cannot introduce any other way besides saying just my soul sister come up here. And this inauguration is not going to be possible without the mother of All Ladies League and Women Economic Forum to actually give birth to it. That's the only way I can say it. And so thank you to everyone.
Thank you, Julie. Thank you, Sukai. Thank you, all of you who've come, journeyed from different parts of the world because you believe in what's happening here. Thank you to all the dignitaries on the dais, excellencies, inspiring women from different parts again. Deputy Mayor of The Hague. Really, it's the city of The Hague that with its warm embrace and outreach to us has pulled us here. Ambassador Stulinga, Ambassador of Netherlands to India, who sowed the seeds of the thought and the idea. And I told him yesterday, he became the guru in guiding our path towards the city of The Hague and making this matching possible. Ambassador of India to the Netherlands, Ambassador Mukul, who was always here supporting the All Netherlands chapter, and Sukai could always reach out to him for anything that she needed. Excellencies Judd Joyce, Judd Sanji, Anton Phillips, Pamela Hack, Yasmina Azari, Marriott, all women of excellence who Julie's going to be introducing a little more as they come to speak. And all of you from 40 different countries of origin, you may be living there, born there, working there. But as I have interacted with each one of you, as Julie also said, and some other people, your exposure, your experience to cultures, ethnicities, languages goes way beyond your place of origin. I always say where we stay is like our home address, but that doesn't stop us from traveling anywhere in the world. And we travel with our bodies, we travel with our minds, and we travel with our souls. And that's what the All Ladies League is all about. The acronym stands for all of us. And bringing this uniting ethos of brotherhood and sisterhood through the agency of women's leadership. The nurturers of a family, the nurturers of a society, the nurturers of a community, and why not the whole world? And we are here together so that we can be more empowered and we can be more included. Reinventing EU through women empowerment and inclusion. For reinventing anything, EU, or any country, or any place, or any society, or any system, you need inclusion and empowerment of the stakeholders. And we believe if women are left out of the process, half the world is left out of the process. And that's not sustainable. We're in a place in The Hague, in the Netherlands, where sustainability is such a key word. Netherlands, which is a gateway to Europe. Netherlands, which is a leader in agricultural production, food technology, food sustainability, energy sustainability. I think all the innovative thought processes that we need in the whole world. And it is absolutely no mistake that we are starting here in the Netherlands, which is a leader and absolutely an innovative, pioneering thinker in so many fields. So it has dared to posit the reinventing of EU through the bold step of women empowerment and inclusion. And you're all here to support that, to enrich that, to tell us how each one we can do it individually and we can do it collectively. These 2 days are going to be a place where we align our hearts, minds, we do a collective think, and we become more one as a people, as women. Like Sukai said, the only rule in the All Ladies League, our membership is free to women of inspiration, and the only rule is we don't need the money, but bring in the creative capital, bring in the positive energy, because we really could do more with the light, like she said. We need more candles to light up the fire within each other, the fire of self-belief, self-esteem, conviction, self-reliance, independence. And that's why Women Economic Forum is the conference brought by the All Ladies League, where women can find all the resources. If they say, I want to do this, but I don't know how, this place should give you the inspiration, the know-how, the technical know-how, the tools, and the massive networking across the globe for you to actually go back home feeling, oh, I can do it all. And that's really, that's what there is to it, that because we see you as the source of it all. And if we can energize and bring the energy and transfer the energy and share and empower the energy in you, in I, in all of us, really, together we can do it all. On that note, I will open the opening plenary to all our distinguished speakers on the dais today and have Julie take you forward. Thank you very much.
I think you will agree with me, two beautiful ladies, full of light. So let these 2 days be inspiring, but also inspire with, I very much like the idea of us all having our own light and our own, contribution to making the world a better place. However, when you put all those lights together, you can really change things in a big way. So anyway, I shall now move on to introducing one by one our guest speakers here, who will be speaking for 5 minutes. So be inspired by their thoughts. And I shall start with Mr. Carsten Klein, Deputy Mayor of Economic Affairs, Harbours, Welfare and Health. Mr. Klein.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies are the majority here today. Harbin, Excellencies. First of all, I would like to welcome you here in The Hague, the international city of peace and justice. We are here today to address women empowerment and inclusion. It's a universal issue, and it's a topic we have to discuss in all countries and all cultures. It affects also all social groups and all ages. And you've come from different parts of the world to share your experiences and learn from your colleagues. And The Hague, a city of peace and justice, welcomes you here today and to host this event. As Alderman for Emancipation, as well as Deputy Mayor of Economic Affairs, Harbours and Health, I promote financial independence of women. In the municipal policy, we have some priorities defined concerning women emancipation. In the policy program of the municipal executive is included that work as a means for independence is most important, and therefore more participation of women on the labour market and the stimulation of economic independence of women is a major priority in our policy. A few years ago, we started a project called Isolated or Hidden Women. And these women are being held in the house or by their husbands, sometimes also of free will, because they don't speak the Dutch language and are not able to participate in the right way. Sometimes they are not even allowed to go out of their house. So far, we've reached with our policy hundreds of women who are being trained or educated to eventually participate or go to work. To establish the emancipation of women, it's also important for men to emancipate along with them. As long as emancipation of men is not high on the political agenda, women participation will not be effective. Men also have to contribute to the emancipation process, especially now that a lot of women in our country and most European countries work. And the men can do the same things and divide the task even. On my way here to the World Forum, I brought my daughter to school, and I do that every day I have her. So that's very important to set some examples and also include that in our policy of the municipality. We facilitate workshops, debates. We try to create awareness to help men not to maintain the traditional roles within their household. Women are also underrepresented in the top of companies, and research actually shows that companies are better off as they are guided by mixed teams. So our policy is also stimulating organizations to appoint more women at high positions. And in our executive board of the city, not the executive board I am the member of, but the executive board under that, the civil servant executive board, that is, I think, in the majority, it's consisted of women. But we also have to change, and maybe next time you have a female deputy mayor here. Let's hope so. Since a few years, we also have a new focus on gender and health. Men and women are equal, but they are not the same, very obviously. And to create equal chances for women in healthcare, men and women have to be treated differently. The current healthcare system is not gender-specific in the most cases, so it's not sufficiently focused on the female body. The male body regularly, most of the times, is the standard in the research and treatment of patients. Many drugs and treatments are tested primarily on white men of male animals, so women can experience unexpected side effects. Also, there is less knowledge about the women's specific symptoms of diseases and disorders, so they can't be recognized in an early stage. With the policy in The Hague and in the Netherlands and all over the world, we think of these women we think of these women brimming with talent and potential, just waiting for the chance to mark and turn their dreams into reality. And today you will discuss all kinds of issues about women empowerment and inclusion. And I hope that we can unlock the doors for women all over the world to success and unblock their avenues of opportunities. And when we boost participation of women, we also boost the growth potential of our country. Dear Harbin and Finai, where are you? You divided your task very well today. Last year has been a successful year for the relation between The Hague and India. In 2016, I have visited India several times, and we've managed to deepen our relationships. I was constantly impressed by all the work you do, and I greatly admire your work and your commitment. Your work is important for the whole world, and together with all the attendees today, we are sending a clear message. May our joint efforts make a chance for girls and women all over the world. I wish you all a very successful conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Klein. Can I now call on His Excellency Alfonsus Tulinga, Ambassador of the Netherlands to India, to say a few words.
Thank you so much, Deputy Mayor and Alderman Karsten Klein and Ambassador Mukul from India and all the experts on the dais. I'm the Netherlands ambassador in India, and I'm male, but we have 30% of our ambassadors, of the Dutch ambassadors abroad, female. And we have a rule within our ministry that with equal capacity, promotion goes to the woman. So we will get to the 50% at least, and maybe even more. So the policy is there to get more women in the Dutch ambassadors team. So for me, it's refreshing and inspiring and encouraging to see so many female speakers and to talk to an audience with so many female experts. But because, you know, when I walked up to the stage, I thought that the fact that I felt compelled to say this is really surprising, because we are in 2017 and still, if you in India and in the Netherlands, if you go to a panel, you listen to a panel, it's the classical male lectures and the audience is the classical male spectator. So this is really the way we should go to get the women in the place that they should occupy in order to bring the world forward. It's so obvious that women have to play their role in the economy, because women are 50% of the population, and women are equal, and nowadays even ahead of men in many socio-economic activities. The Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, in one of his first speeches said that in order for India to materialize its huge potential, we have to get women on board. We have to get women active in the society and active in the economy. So that is a priority of the government of India. Now, the theme of today is the European Union and women empowerment and women inclusion. How to reinvent the European Union. There is a lot to be done to empower women in the European Union, because in the European Union, women bear a disproportionate responsibility for unpaid care work. As high as 25% of women report care and other family responsibilities as the reason for them not participating in the labor force. For men, that percentage is only 3%. So 25% of women report that as a reason not to participate in the labor market, only 3%. But at the same time, the signs are looking up. The financial power of women is expanding at a more rapid rate than ever before in human history. Women empowerment is leading the reduction of poverty. More than men, women invest a large part of their revenues in their families and communities, especially in education and health of their children, which means their children have a better chance of breaking out of a generation-long cycle of poverty and their communities flourish. Before I turn to the European Union, I would like to say that the Dutch government is committed and proactively promoting gender equality and enhancing empowerment of women. The Netherlands urges other countries and organizations to focus more of their attention to the position of women. We do that mainly in the EU, but also outside the EU with other countries like the US and South Africa. And in 2012, the Netherlands collaborated with 11 countries to set up the Equal Futures Partnership, which aims at empowering women. Within our development cooperation relationship with a lot of developing countries, the empowerment of women is a constant factor. Empowerment of women is always a part of all our programs with developing nations. And as far as my embassy in New Delhi is concerned, we have decided to take empowerment of women as the main focus of our human rights support programs. Now we come to the subject of today, the European Union reinventing itself and what the link is with the empowerment of women and women inclusion. Ladies and gentlemen, the world, you all see that every day in the newspapers, is rapidly changing. Tensions are rising globally and within the EU. There is instability on the eastern and the southern borders of the European Union. And within the European Union, there is a rise of nationalism and we have the Euro crisis. In fact, I think it's very surprising. In fact, we can say that while the citizens in the EU have never been so prosperous, at the same moment, they have never felt so insecure. Maybe the reason that they feel insecure is that they have something to lose because they are so prosperous today. This has already led to Brexit. Globally, although the statistics say that fewer and fewer people are dying in armed conflicts, the world of today feels more unpredictable than it has been since decades. It's important to realize that the values that we have been taken for granted for so many years are not self-evident, nor are they irreversible. There is fear, and fear is the worst enemy of peace. Now there is overwhelming quantitative evidence that women's empowerment and gender equality are associated with peace and stability in society. In particular, when women influence decisions about war and peace and take the lead against extremism in their communities, it is more likely crisis will be resolved without recourse to violence. There is a lesson for all of us here. And this is proven. Statistical analysis of the largest data set, it's very recent, this research, on the status of women in the world today, shows that where women are more empowered in multiple spheres of life, let's say from the root to the top of the society, where women are more empowered, countries are less likely to go to war with their neighbors, or to be in a bad standing with the international community, or to be rife with crime and violence within their society. The UN has done research, and the conclusion of that is that gender equality is a better indicator of a state's, of a country's peacefulness than other factors like religion and even democracy. So women empowerment is more important for the peacefulness of a country than democracy is. That's what the UN states. So it's quite a statement, and it shows how important women empowerment is for peace. And this ties in perfectly with the soft power of Europe. It is a continent that derives its credibility today, not from the power of guns. The European Union is an economic power, a cultural power, but not a military power. It gets its power from its ideas and its inspiration of its values. And that, of course, in the past centuries, that has been different. But today, European power is because of its values. Europe certainly does not derive this from its military might. Arguing this line of thinking the other way around also makes sense. When women's equality is directly linked to European well-being, we can also derive from that only by overcoming gender equality can we truly lay the foundations for the continent's future. In sum, we have to include women more in the decision processes, starting with the ground root level, in order to prevent conflicts and solve conflicts without recourse to violence. Only by standing together as EU member states and as men and women of the EU member states can we seize the opportunities for cooperation with countries in our region and further afield. The EU member states themselves will need to roll up their sleeves to continue to make improvements to engage in the drive for a more equitable representation and proportion of women at all levels, in all sectors and industries. Now, maybe it's a coincidence. My wife is Greek, and I know a lot about the Greek language and the Greek culture. And of course, Europe was the name of a woman. By empowering, so that is characteristically symbolic almost, by empowering women who will help empowering other women, we can truly become an inclusive European Union that can reach its full potential. So I think the subject of today was very well chosen. We are not there yet in the European Union, far from that. And the problems that we solve today can find a solution in a better way by empowering women. I'm curious to hear more about the conclusions you all draw from this conference, and I wish you a lot of inspiration. And I'm also very happy that we have also created a very close link between the city of The Hague and this Women Economic Forum. Thank you very much, and a lot of success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador Stuhlinger. Can I now please call on His Excellency Muammar Diop, His Excellency Mr. Mukul, Ambassador of India to the Netherlands, please.
Deputy Mayor of The Hague, Ambassador of Netherlands to India, other dignitaries and specialists and experts on the panel, on the stage, Dr. Harbeen Arora, Ms. Sukai, and all you ladies, and of course the few gentlemen, good morning. Let me start off with where Harbeen and Sukai began, the concept of energy and inner light. What is the Indian ethos on this? One of our prime ministers said, and I will quote, "You can tell the condition of a nation by looking at the status of its women," unquote. Women have always commanded great power and importance in the Indian scriptures and mythology over history, you know. This is evident from our ancient times. We worship goddess Durga, Shakti, Lakshmi, Saraswati, and many others, which show how the Indian civilization has always revered the female form. Since eternity, women have played a very important role in the Indian society. This is what I want to make my presentation. This is the overall context. But very quickly, moving on to the modern times, let me just mention that women leaders in India have held every position: President, Prime Minister, Speaker of our Parliament, etc., etc. But more importantly, because we are in an entrepreneurs or a business forum, 14% of the businesses in India are run by women or belong to women entrepreneurs. It could improve, obviously, but in absolute numbers, this accounts for over 8 million women business enterprises. And what is even more interesting is that 79% of these enterprises run by women are self-financed. So there is obviously a need for more institutional finance to reach them. Salaries offered to women in India are generally at par with men, unlike many other countries. Women occupy top position in Indian enterprises. 10 major financial institutions in India have women at their helm. Large number of successful women are leading major Indian corporates. 4 Indian women achievers figured in the Forbes Most Powerful Women 2016 list, etc., etc. That is one side of the story. The government, both at the center and state levels, the banks, financial institutions, and the NGOs have been providing all kinds of assistance to help empower, in that sense, women entrepreneurs. The Entrepreneurship Development Program, or the EDPs, the SIDBI, the bank, the Small Industries Development Bank of India, the Prime Minister's Rozgar Yojana, schemes related to women entrepreneurs like Trade-Related Entrepreneurship Assistance Development, short form TRED, or the support for training and employment, etc., STEP. Now, these are all efforts and initiatives to bring forward the women entrepreneurs. There are also loan schemes, special. The Bharatiya Mahila Bank, the Women's Bank, for example, has BMB Annapurna for businesses, for setting up businesses in the food side, BMB Shringar for setting up parlors, salons, etc., BMB Parvarish for setting up daycare centers, and so on. So there's a lot of effort being put into this. I turn to the other side of now, the Europe, since that is the thing. I don't know much about Europe, but I treat it as a macrocosm of Netherlands. And let me just say that India-Netherlands business relations are booming. Trade is buoyant. Investment both ways are flowing well. So what is it that I would like to see reinvented? Or we need to see more interlinkages between women business entrepreneurs from the Netherlands, and by extension Europe as a whole, with entrepreneurs in India. We look at businesses here. We have huge companies from the Netherlands invested in India. Ambassador Stolinga will bear me out, more than, I think, 250 companies or even more. Here we have almost 200 Indian companies, but very few women-led companies have come out. So what we would like to see reinvented is a more active engagement of women entrepreneurs from the Netherlands, and as I said, by extension, Europe, with women entrepreneurs from India. And that, I think, is the thought that your forum and your conference should look at in seeing how we can use the kind of network that World Women Economic Forum, WEF, or the All Ladies League and others are trying to provide to get more interaction, more networking, and therefore more business enterprises in all verticals: trade, investment, tourism, whatever that you have, because the business climate between India and the Netherlands is all go. We have a very easy program of visas, for example, in terms of ease of travel and ease of business. There's great connectivity with new direct flights and things like that. There are lots of other incentives being provided, but perhaps a need to look at, with of course, perhaps with some trade chambers and others, to see how we can, because there are very active business enterprises, as I pointed out, in India, and of course the women entrepreneurs in the Netherlands and Europe are doing extremely well, but maybe we need to reinvent and refocus and see how we can bring these together. So I think I leave with that thought with you, and I take this opportunity to wish your conference all success. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ambassador. On to a row of ladies here we have. I would like to start calling on Her Excellency Judge Joyce Alour, Judge and First Vice President, International Criminal Court, The Hague.
The Deputy Mayor of The Hague, Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Thank you, Dr. Aurora, and your team for organizing this Women Economic Forum and giving us the chance to come and meet each other, ladies. Now, celebrating women's achievements is important, but it is always necessary to reflect on what more needs to be done on the empowerment of women. But I want to ask you, ladies, what does women empowerment really mean? I'll ask you in the course of the next 2 days, I'll get your replies, but now, please get mine. I'll start with a definition which I find very illustrative, and that is women's ability to make strategic life choices where that ability had been previously denied to them. I'll get yours. So to be clear, ladies, it is not a question of men or women being better. It is a question of equality, diversity, legitimacy, and impact. We have different experiences and backgrounds, and consequently, we may have different perspectives on some issues. All this helps to draw attention to matters that would otherwise go unnoticed. On my part, ladies, I have found a career in law, and in particular, the judiciary, to be very fulfilling and engaging. I had the honor to serve in my country, Kenya, in the High Court as well as in the Court of Appeal. In 2009, I was elected together with my sister judge here. We were elected judges of International Criminal Court based here in The Hague, in the Netherlands. This is Europe. I've also been involved in promoting children's rights, both at the United Nations level and the African Union. Just a brief background about the International Criminal Court. You're already in The Hague, so it would be a pity if you didn't know that this court exists. It does exist. It began its operations in 2002. Currently, it has 124 states parties from all regions of the world. In a nutshell, the ICC purpose is to help states to ensure that the most serious international crimes do not go unpunished. It also helps to prevent such crimes. The Rome Statute, the founding treaty of the ICC, has created a code of legal norms that outlaw sexual violence and other atrocities during conflict. These legal norms reflect the shared global values of people in all regions: peace, security, and protection of human rights. They also reflect an attempt to mainstream women's rights into normative structures of international humanitarian law, a body of law that had been previously not taken account of women. It had not taken account of women's rights. By investigating and, where necessary, prosecuting sexual and gender-based crimes when national judicial systems are unable or unwilling to do so, the ICC hopes to contribute to the prevention and deterrence of such crimes in two fundamental ways. First, specific punishments imposed on offenders will deter or prevent them from committing further acts of violence against women. Secondly, the fear of punishment will prevent others from committing such gender-based crimes and other crimes. Last year, ladies and gentlemen, we had a landmark decision. We issued our first conviction on sexual violence after finding a very high-powered individual guilty of crimes against humanity and war crimes, including sexual-based crimes. I was privileged to be part of that bench. Our decision is currently on appeal. Victims, who are mostly women and children, are central to our work at the ICC. The Rome Statute guarantees their right to participation in proceedings and seek reparations. The Rome Statute also created Trust Fund for Victims, whose mission is to support and implement programs that address harms resulting from genocide, crimes against humanity, and war crimes. The Trust Fund, in conjunction with locally based partners, has helped many victims, most of whom are women and children. Ladies and gentlemen, the ICC has led the way when it comes to women's participation in the leadership of international courts. It was the first international court with a majority of female judges. As in 2009, when 3 of us were elected, we became 11 women judges against 8 male judges. Our male colleagues actually said they were endangered species. That situation persisted for 3 years, but it has since changed, so we have to reinvent. Currently, ladies and gentlemen, we have, of all the international institutions that I know, we have the first all-female presidency of the court. The president of the court is Judge Fernandez Silvia. She's from Argentina. I am the first vice president. I'm from Kenya. Judge Kuniko Ozaki is the second vice president. She's from Japan. An all-female presidency. Despite these gains at the ICC, we must not forget that women still participate in small numbers in most international organizations, particularly at senior-most level. I would therefore like to encourage all of us to continue and do better than we have done or that we are doing. I'd like to, it has been reported, ladies, I don't know whether this is true, but listen to it. It has been reported that women apply for jobs only if they meet 100% of the job description, while our friends, with a lot of respect to our male friends, they are confident about their ability, even if they have only 60% qualified. Trust yourselves, ladies. So why? We have to, if whether you are 40%, 50%, 60%, I'll do this. That's what President Trump does. Please go for it. Finally, I would like to emphasize that gender equality, justice, and security are closely connected and independent. Forums such as these play a highly important role in bringing us together so that we may work better to inspire and harness our efforts towards our common goals. Thank you for listening to me, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Yes. We shall just say goodbye to Mr. Klein. Yes. Goodbye. Next, I would like to call on Her Excellency Judge Sanji Monageng, President of the Appeals Division at the International Criminal Court.
Thank you very much. Protocol has been observed. When I was growing up as a young woman in my society, which is patrilineal, my grandmother, the grandmother next door, were the most important people in the community. They were held in the highest of esteem, even when in a traditional court, a man, because it was always men, had to be whipped for having done something. If he managed to escape, once he went into this old lady's house, that was the end of the matter. We have always wondered what happened in our society and in all other societies. But having said that, ladies and gentlemen, the issue of women empowerment and inclusion is an ongoing struggle. But it is a struggle with positives and negatives. We have had a lot of positives, but in my view, the negatives persist, and they are more urgent than ever. But today, I'm positive that our movement will endure with leadership from people like Dr. Arora. I am so proud of you. With leadership from the younger generation, Ms. Sise, I'm very, very proud of you. Now, coming back to the topic, we are basically trying to build on what will happen in the breakaway groups. In many countries today, women and girls are disproportionately affected by poverty and exclusion. They still face discrimination, which ultimately undermines their opportunities to break the cycle of poverty and marginalization. In many circumstances, women and girls are vulnerable to the risk of violence, including sexual violence in conflict zones, daily domestic violence, and most importantly, cultural practices. This is especially so in Africa, where I come from, where progress in the area of the empowerment of women has been slow and almost entirely dependent on foreign aid from regional bodies such as the EU. In 2012, 28% of the EU's aid included gender equality and women's empowerment as a principal objective, representing a significant increase from the 2009 rate. Together with UN Women, the EU has been an integral part in advocating for and funding programs. In more than 50 countries that promote women's rights, in more than 50 countries that promote women's rights. In Africa, some of these programs are supporting women and girls to play an active role in conflict prevention, peacemaking, and peace building. For instance, in northern Nigeria, as all of us know, that they have a problem with Boko Haram. While also training women in Liberia on literacy, entrepreneurship, and other skills to enhance their physical and economic security. It is these small but effective programs that ultimately result in elderly women in the remotest of villages learning how to read and write for the first time and emboldening them to go on to influence the entire village. As you know, when you educate a woman, you educate a whole village. Women all over the world represent agents of change who are powerful and full of untapped potential. And I'm hoping that during the next 2 days, we will be looking at how we can untap this potential. A woman can change the world, but first she needs to be given an opportunity. And I think these are things that we will be looking into. Discrimination against women in the workplace is a subject very close to my heart, having fought against it throughout my own career. Equal pay for equal work must be a goal pursued vigorously as the modern woman takes her place in our financial institutions, as was mentioned earlier, boardrooms of multinational companies, judiciaries, etc. This form of inclusion will go a long way in achieving gender parity, which is long overdue. And it is hoped that entities like the EU, the UN Women, all women, our sisters, and civil society at large will be even more innovative in raising awareness for this issue. And I'm convinced, like I said, that the next 2 days will be such a forum. I thank you for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Shall I call on Mr. Anton Phillips, please, founder Stichting Emergo?
Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor for me to have the opportunity this morning to share my deep conviction and vision with you at this forum. My vision is a society where people love the work they do, where they can use their talents to the best of their ability and get full satisfaction of what they do. I have been working for the past 40 years to realize this vision. In order for people to find work that they love, if they have not yet found it already, they first have to discover what kind of work they would love. And to answer that question, the questions of who am I, what are my talents, and what do I really want? What really gives me satisfaction in my work? Most people find it very hard to answer these questions. Yet, there is a simple way to find out. If you want to know what you will enjoy doing in the future, look at what you have enjoyed doing in the past. Make a list of your enjoyable achievements from your earliest childhood up till the present. Analyze what skills you used. Analyze what subject matter you worked with. Analyze what circumstances prevailed. They are the circumstances that are motivating to you. Look also at what role you played in relation to others. For instance, were you a real team player? Or did you focus on your own contribution? Were you an influencer? Or possibly a leader or a manager? And most importantly, what gave you satisfaction? We have concluded after many years of practice that everyone has a central motivating drive. It is what gives us satisfaction. And therefore it is what consciously or subconsciously we always pursue. My central drive is to realize ideas and concepts. That showed up already at the age of 15 when I responded wholeheartedly to the challenge of devoting my life to building a better world. As a result, I worked then for 12 years as an unpaid volunteer with the worldwide movement of moral rearmament. 40 years ago, I discovered the system for identifying motivated abilities, CIMA for short. That is the method I just described with which you can identify your motivated abilities pattern, also called your map. And it reveals your intrinsic motivation, your I am. Within 10 years, I believe, the world will realize that I am is as important as IQ. In fact, the greatest gift you can give someone is the knowledge and understanding of their own intrinsic motivation. In life, we have to make many choices, and I was good at making wrong choices. I chose a field of studies that did not really interest, and later I worked for 15 years in the Philips company, which, by the way, was founded by my ancestors, in jobs that did not fit me. Why? Because I did not know myself well enough, and because I did not really know what was the content of the jobs that I was offered. Your map shows you in every detail what is the right job for you. If you're presently in work that you do not love, you can see which elements do not match and try to change it. And if your job is a total mismatch, you can start looking for work which is a good match. Let me tell you one thing. You will only be fully productive if your work matches your motivated abilities pattern. So I warmly recommend you to discover it and to help those that are dear to you to do the same. I'm the co-author of a book which tells you exactly how to do this. It's called De Kracht van Motivatie, The Power of Motivation. It is in Dutch, and you can buy it after, if you want, from my assistant here in this corner of the room. And if you want to, you can get an autographed copy. If you cannot read Dutch, buy one of the books by Arthur Miller, for instance, The Power of Uniqueness. Miller is the man who developed the system for identifying motivated abilities. At the book table, later on, you can also pick up a flyer which gives you more information, including websites. And if you want to know more about this subject, come to Parallel Session 1D in the Yangtze 2 meeting, right after this meeting. And let me close with wishing you and everyone that you work with a work that is really satisfying. Thank you.
Very wise words indeed, especially for the new generations. Are you still all with us out there? Yes? Yes? Right now, of course, I'm totally confused with all these shifting chairs if I follow protocol or whatever. However, I do have a very soft spot for Senegal because I lived there for 4 years. So I shall just mess you all up a little bit, and I shall call on Dr. Momar Diop, Ambassador of Senegal to the Netherlands. Oh, 5 minutes. Were you expecting it? 5 minutes. No, just say something else to me.
First of all, I need to apologize for coming so late. I had some outstanding issues that we had to take care of first. Second, nobody told me that I was expected to address this great audience. But I feel honored and very privileged to address you. But let me first of all thank and congratulate my dear Senegambian sister, Sukay. And she knows what I mean. And all the organizers. When it comes to women's causes, I think it is just like a very, excuse me, I'm French speaker. I have to find out the real words. Yeah, it becomes just like an instinct for somebody like me to be fully involved in all women issues. That's part of my history. I think if there's one person who played the biggest, most important role in my life, that was my mother. I loved her, and since she passed away, I lost interest in so many things. Like, to give you an example, I come back from Senegal just 3 days ago. The house that I struggled to build for her is still back there at the village. For 10 days, I could not get into that house. I refused to get in there anymore. I don't need it anymore. I told my siblings, whoever wants it, you can have it, because my mom is no longer there. That's part of my life, but also to be living with a wonderful wife for the past 27 years, who's been with me. She's not here with you, but she's right there. But I praise her for being there all the time. That's what women are. That's who you are. Without you, this world will be limping. This world will be sick. And of course, because you are here, we seem to be a little more intelligent. Thank you. In Senegal, we value women, and even politically today, we have a full parity, gender parity, like at the National Assembly, which is the parliament, 50-50. And there is a law that obliges all local and national authorities to abide by that law. Women are very, very powerful. They're very vocal. And intelligently, I mean, put a lot of pressure on government and all authorities, and I think they are part of all national programs. We listen to them, and we follow their advice. Not 100%, but yeah, sometimes. One thing I wanted to tell you also is culturally, in my country, for example, when somebody is successful in life, become what we say quelqu'un in French, someone, they say you should thank your mother. And everybody in the neighborhood will praise your mother because you become successful. They will not mention the father anyway, unless you fail. When you fail, they say, yeah, the dad did not take care of the family correctly. So, and I just heard a phrase here that we value and we use a lot. You educate one man, you have only one man at the end. But educate one woman, you educate a whole society. And that's why you must always be here. When it comes to women, you're more than half of the world. Those who say half of the world, I think they are wrong. You may be 1.5. And it's my pleasure to be here with you today to show solidarity. And I am one of those men that people used to call feminist in Senegal. Feminist means somebody who supports all women's causes, especially those years when I was a journalist writing on newspapers. I had plenty of articles about fighting for women's rights, because as a very famous woman said, women's rights are also human rights. Thank you very much.
A speech from the heart. Mrs. Pamela Hack, Acting Consular General, U.S., Acting Consular General at the U.S. Consulate General in Amsterdam. Sorry for that.
Wow. What an honor just to be up here with all of you and all of the energy in the crowd. Thank you so much. Why gender equality? Because from every angle, strategically, financially, morally, the empowerment of women and girls around the world matters to U.S. foreign policy. But around the world, women and girls are being held back. They lack access to opportunities, educational opportunities, economic opportunities, political opportunities, and they face staggering violence. 1/3 of the girls in the developing world are married before the age of 18 and give birth before the age of 20. 98 million girls around the world are still not in school, even though adolescent girls who attend school get married later, have fewer and healthier children, and achieve higher earning power. Just 1 year of secondary education can lead to a 25% increase in wages. More than 200 million girls and women alive today in 30 countries have undergone female genital mutilation or cutting, a serious human rights violation with no medical necessity. Millions more are at risk. While women are often victims of violence, as I've named, they are much more than victims. Women are critical to making societies more stable, more peaceful, and more prosperous. In almost every realm, women are underrepresented around the world. The political realm, the social realm, the economic realm. 75% of global unpaid work is conducted by women. Conservative minimum wage estimates value this work at $10 trillion per year. If women played identical roles to men in the labor markets, the global GDP would rise up to $28 trillion by the year 2025. That's right, 28 000 000 000 000. Women invest more of the money they make back into education and health care for their families. Women are grossly underrepresented in leadership around the world. Only 22.8% of national parliamentarians are women. There are less than 20 female heads of state and government out of nearly 200 countries worldwide. From 1992 to 2011, only 9% of peace negotiators were women. When women participate, however, peace agreements are 35% more likely to last for over 15 years. How do we change? How do we change these statistics? How do we strengthen the rights of women and girls so that communities and economies are stronger too? The State Department, who I work for, is leading the way. Gender equality is built into our work around the world. from our efforts to support entrepreneurship and innovation to our work to promote peace and reconciliation, with the belief that women and girls are entitled to full rights and opportunities. We continue to work with countries to promote gender equality and advance the status of women and girls globally. When women do better, we all do better. It's just that simple. And what will you do to help women change the world? Join us. What I just read to you, I wish I could take credit for writing, but this is a part of a video that was released by the Department of State about a week ago. We may find it to try to release it around here, but I watched it and kind of got tears in my eyes, and it made me proud to realize that I work for this organization. When I changed careers 14 years ago, kind of following your advice and saying, when I turned 40, what is it that excites me? And anyway, there followed a career change, and here I am. But a couple of anecdotes for you. When I worked in Pakistan, I often helped rescue victims of domestic violence. One gentleman called me from the United States, a U.S. citizen, called me and woke me up in the middle of the night. I'd had conversations with him over the past couple of weeks about his sister who lived in Peshawar and had 4 children. He was afraid for her because he said that she had called and said that her husband was getting quite abusive. He didn't want us to go out to her home because he was afraid that if her husband found out that she had contacted the State Department and our offices, that he would kill her. It turns out it didn't matter. He killed her anyway. With my incredibly strong and brave staff at the U.S. Embassy in Islamabad, led by, bless her heart, Aisha Perzada, we were able, however, to rescue dozens of domestic violence victims and forced marriage, or rather I would say love marriage, in some cases people who married for love, victims. And I'll never, ever forget them or forget the work of Khalida Salimi with the NGO called SASH, also Struggle for Change, and how she and her talented crew of mostly women psychosocial counselors similarly rescued hundreds of women and girls every year. Their courage strengthens me. In Eritrea, where I worked for 3 years, FGM is illegal, yet 90% of the women that I met had undergone this procedure. Even when their parents did not want this for their daughters, sometimes grandmothers would force it upon them when their mother was away. Yet I met a brave and outspoken educator, an anti-FGM activist, Eritrean, who was not afraid to speak publicly. It wasn't even politically correct for Eritreans to be on friendly terms with Americans when I lived there. But I remember she did a presentation with us as a part of our U.S. Embassy outreach. She gave a very graphic presentation to about 100 guests. 90 of them, about 90% of them, were male, describing in detail what exactly happened when FGM was performed on a young girl. She didn't care that her audience was male. She didn't care that her graphics might be considered X-rated to some people. She cared about stopping FGM. Her courage strengthens me. In Morocco, where I worked for 2 years, in Casablanca, and at the beach, of all places, I witnessed a man beating up a woman half his size. She was screaming in pain. She was thrown to the ground where he continued to kick her, hit her, stomp her. And I saw this happening, and I ran at him, just screaming and telling him to stop. He did, obviously not used to being interrupted by an American stranger, and said to me, and I'll never forget this, he said, "It's okay, she's my wife." But also in Morocco, I met amazing women who ran an organization called La Mère Célibataire, the single mother. And it was a place where single pregnant women could go after they'd been dumped by their fiancés and disowned by their families. Because after all, you had to remain a virgin until you were married, and if you lost your virginity, you were worthless. This was a place where these women could go before and after they had their babies, and they could learn occupational skills so that they could eventually be able to support themselves independently. Childcare, once they had a baby, was provided, and in fact was one of the skills taught there. The women who ran this organization, the women, they chose to live, and they reshaped the women who ran the organization. Their lives strengthened me. So you can see I've told you there's some very negative things happening in some places, but there's also many more strong, incredible women who are doing wonderful, powerful things to change that. And those are the people that have touched me, just like everybody here has touched me. All over the world, yes, there's still so much that is wrong, but there is also so much that is good. I've seen heroes everywhere, and people making a difference, making a change for the better. And in every one of you here is that spark. You're the ones who make a difference, everybody here. And you are the ones that are changing the world. You are the ones that have the power to make a difference and the power to change the world. So thank you very much for letting me be a part of this.
Thank you for sharing. I realize we are running it to sort of slightly over our program, but I think it would be a big shame to miss out on these words of wisdom. So since the break was planned, we will continue for now and keep it to our 5 minutes. Now, just to keep you all on your feet, I shall now call on His Excellency Jean-Pierre Karabaranga, Ambassador of Rwanda, to speak to us for a few minutes.
Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to apologize for arriving late to this meeting. I couldn't do otherwise due to my other responsibilities, but I had said that I cannot miss this event. So I thank you very much for inviting me first, Sukai, and all. I'm very happy to be here with you, all of you. It's really wonderful and nice that we can here today in The Hague gather and talk about gender equality, women empowerment, and women economic empowerment. But I have to say that I'm a bit disappointed by the fact that I don't see much men in the hall, which means that we still have a long way to go. This is something that in my country, Rwanda, you cannot see. When we gather to talk about gender issues, women empowerment, most of the time, men are the majority. This is the fact. But I think that maybe one day we'll be able to reach that level. I'm very happy to be here for only one reason. It's not about my personal reason or my personal will, but it is about my country, Rwanda. Rwanda is a country which many of you or most of the world know about, mainly a tragic history, a tragic past. But 22 years down the road, Rwanda has completely changed. Rwanda today is one of the most fast-growing economy in Africa. Rwanda is one of the safe country, one of the safest country in Africa, if not among the two safest countries. Rwanda, if you read some report about safety and security, Rwanda came as the first country in Africa where women and girls feel safe at walking at night, talking about security and safety, which means that we value women and our sisters and our girls. Rwanda made a lot of progress. Today, we are not talking about only security, we are not talking about economic development, we are talking about sustainable economic development. And these tremendous achievements that we did was only possible due to our inclusive development policy, where women are at the core, or we consider as the pillar of our society. I would like to quote my president, His Excellency Paul Kagame, who often says that women are the rock of our society. Women are the rock of our families. Women are the rock of our homes. Women are the rock and the foundation of our country. And in our history, women have played a role since Rwanda exists. You can see that from the whole governance system in Rwanda, where the mother of the king of Rwanda has been playing a huge role in the governance of Rwanda. So it has been translated across generations, and today we in Rwanda would like to continue in that path. We have put in place a very ambitious policy to be able to achieve our target of reaching real gender equality in Rwanda. We first put in place a kind of an obligation. In our constitution is written that at a government level, even we encourage in the private sector and the civil society. But in the government, it is mandatory that we have at least 30% of all posts and positions be allocated to women. This is written in our constitution. And this has been translated in tremendous achievement. Today, talking about governance, as my predecessor said, in our parliament, 64% of members of the parliament of Rwanda today are women. 64%. Talking about the cabinet, member of the cabinet, 48 are women. Talking about at municipality level, 48 of the members of municipalities in Rwanda are women. Talking about education, because we cannot achieve our development target without investing in education. Today, 42 of students at primary schools are girls. Oh, 52, 52. Which was not the case because 20 years ago, only 18% girls occupied only 18% in primary schools. Today, it's 52. And this is not because we really pushed the girls to go to school, but it is translated in the fact that even our society, 52% of our population are women, which means that at least at the secondary primary education, we achieved almost 100% of our target. And we are today talking about inclusive economic progress and the financial inclusion. And I'm glad in a later stage maybe to be able to share with most of you what we achieved as a country. So I'm glad I can't talk more about this, and I don't have much of time, and I don't want to. I can see our master of ceremony. So I would like one day to share with you our vision in women empowerment, gender equality, our achievement, and how we did it. Because if Rwanda did it, any other country can do it. And so I would like to conclude by saying that I'm glad to be here, and you can count on me and on my country to be one of your main partners. Thank you very much, and I wish you a good day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. 3 more inspiring speakers to go, and then you can get a little bit of a break. Mrs. Mariette Verhoef-Cohen, President Women for Water Partnership and President-elect Soroptimist International. Welcome.
Excellencies, honored guests, dear friends, I feel very honored to be here as President of Women for Water Partnership and President-elect of Soroptimist International. Your theme, EU reinventing itself, women empowerment and inclusion, is very close to my heart. Both my organizations focus on the Sustainable Development Goals 5, gender equality, in liaison with SDG 4, education, and SDG 6, water, so that women will be positioned as active leaders, experts, and partners. Both my women organizations aim to create a better world for all, and in particular for women and girls. And we are very concerned that the EU hardly pays any attention to water in its policies. While water is such a pivotal source for our lives and our economies. This has to change, and we are lobbying to redress that situation. Therefore, I like to emphasize the importance of water and the connection to women empowerment. One of the subjects to be discussed today and tomorrow is how women can play a stronger role in revitalizing the economy and society, and water is such a subject. Why? Because women and water are deeply connected. In many countries, women are responsible for fetching clean drinking water, to grow vegetables, using water for their businesses. And today, in over 70% of the households where water has to be fetched, women and girls are still burdened with this responsibility. Survey data show that for 25 sub-Saharan countries indicate that women spend a total of 16 million hours a day collecting water. This means that 16 million hours a day cannot be spent on other activities such as education and income generation. The 27 members of Women for Water, including Soroptimist International, have taken it upon themselves to draw attention to the important role women play as experts, agents of change, and partners in achieving equal access to water and sanitation in a sustainable manner. In our experience, water has always been a good entry point for empowering women. Involving women and men in integrated water resource initiatives increases effectiveness and efficiency, as well as sustainable use and attention for the environment. And do women play that important role? Yes and no. Yes, there is more awareness of the fact that women and men together must bring about the changes needed. You've heard that today. Yes, there are more women leaders and experts in the water sector than, for instance, 25 years ago. In the Netherlands, we now have 5 of the 10 CEOs of the water companies, and they are women. So it is possible to have women leaders in influential positions in the water sector. In terms of enrollment in academic education, the gap has decreased to only 5%. And last year, The Economist published a story titled "Girls Are Storming the Ivory Towers," which confirmed that indeed more girls are enrolled in universities and other forms of tertiary education. You would expect this would also lead to a higher number of jobs for women. Unfortunately, this is not true. If women take up jobs in more technical realm, they usually resign after 3 to 5 years, due to unfavorable working conditions and cultural constraints, and not, gentlemen, because you think they might be pregnant. If yes, there have been positive changes, but there still seem to be obstacles to full involvement of women in water management. And why? For one, there is the clear divide that separates domestic use from other productive uses of water. Women use water for the household, subsistence farming, and other non-income producing uses, which in fact is an extension of their domestic roles. Water management is largely seen as technically driven, and for generations, technology has not been perceived as women's business. And even women themselves have believed that. Across the globe, there are millions of water-related jobs, and according to the latest World Water Development Report, women hold only 17% of the paid jobs in the water sector, and that included administration jobs. The reason why women are lagging behind are linked to values and beliefs about the position and the role of women. For example, women are perceived to be as unsuitable for field work because it's unsafe to be in that environment. Social and cultural barriers prevent women from having careers or becoming influential in the water sector and also in many other technical sectors. So what can we do to change that situation? Firstly, it requires a change in the mindset. To view women as actors, as agents of change, rather than as victims, vulnerable groups, or beneficiaries only. And secondly, we must combine the implementations of the Sustainable Development Goal 4, education, 5, on women empowerment and gender equality, and 6, water. The dedicated water goal, we have to combine that in the national action plans, also in Europe. That this does not automatically happen, and we have to influence the policymakers and budget holders. Many countries consider women and water issues as part of their priorities. But in practice, there is little horizontal coordination between the two. We are often faced with different ministries, different advisors, different mechanisms, and not only at country level, not only at the UN, but also in Europe. Moreover, it's effective to include women at all levels of decision-making, and setting quotas, like having 40% women in water governing bodies and ensuring their voices are actually heard, does help. It is also effective to involve women in designing, budgeting, implementing, monitoring, and evaluating programs in the field of water and sustainable development. It goes together with allocation of sufficient means for empowerment, capacity building, vocational training, career enhancement to enable women to fulfill these roles. And finances should reach women directly, because that is the most effective and efficient way. There is an increasing shortage of qualified professionals. Vacancies cannot be filled in the water sector, and SDG 6 cannot be achieved with the current capacity of human resources. So let's create the conditions and develop new curricula at different levels of vocational training, not only for girls, but also aimed at adult women to fill this gap. It is an utmost importance to collect good data and look at access to water through the lens of both women and men in order to realistically monitor the implementations of the SDGs. So if we do all these things, position women as actors, make finance available, involve women in decision-making, in budgeting, designing, implementation, and monitoring of projects and programs, collect the sex disaggregated data, then the situation will definitely change and lead to more equitable and sustainable access to water for all and gender equality. And that is also important for the EU, because without clean and safe drinking water, there is no economy. Water for women leads the economic empowerment. So thank you for your attention.
Strong words. Can I please call up now Mrs. Yasmina Azari, Honorary Consul of the Netherlands in Syria.
Hello. Thank you, Dr. Aurora, for inviting me. Excellencies, I'm really honored to speak in front of distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I was introduced as the Honorary Consul of the Netherlands in Syria. I was nominated in 1999 as the Honorary Consul of the Netherlands in Syria, and I was the first female to become a Honorary Consul in the Middle East. I was doing... Thank you. If you go to my bio, it's in the website, you will see that I was always, most often, very often, the first to be. Maybe my story, I will choose elements which fits with the theme of this forum. I started my career, I was 17, I went to my father's office. We are ship agents, and we ended by being Maersk ship line agents in Syria. Until the war started. I had a big investment. I went to Damascus. I rented a big mall and 3 supermarkets in the rural area of Damascus, and everything was stolen. It's war, it's civil war. Then I was threatened to be kidnapped, myself and my daughter, so I had to leave the country more than 4 years ago. I went to Dubai, and I'm living in Dubai. Before that, I want to tell you that there is no restrictions for our dreams. For example, there was nothing preventing females to become board members in chambers of commerce and industry in Syria. But no female dared to go into elections. I did it, and I was elected as the first female in board members, as a board member in Latakia Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Then I was elected as the first female in Tartus Port board. So all these things, I think it's a lesson for all of us that we should be not unique, but we should dare to do something which is not prohibited, but it's not usual, it's unusual. Ernst & Young, they have a yearly competition all over the world. During 2011, I entered into the competition. I was called by Ernst & Young, and we were 120 competitors in Syria, were 8 female, and the balance were men. And I was the winner. I was decorated in Monte Carlo. So everybody was looking, wow, Syrian lady. Yes, I mean, I'm active. I'm doing business. I'm very active in the civil society. And I was doing my job of honorary consul perfectly. That's why I was honored by Her Majesty the Queen, the Mother. I am decorated as a knight. So I'm the Dutch knight. And I'm really honored for that. When I went to Dubai, you know, Dubai is a very big place. For me, it was very strange. I felt uprooted. I was not old, but I was not young. I was 50. I didn't know what to do. I'm brave in shipping. I'm brave in retail. I could do nothing in Dubai. So I spent 2 years crying, falling down, children taking me to the hospital and back. I didn't know what to do, you know. I felt lost, especially when you are forced to leave your country. So then I did what the gentleman said. I made all the questions for myself, what I'm brave in, what should I do? And then I discovered that my fortune is my network. I was always invited as a speaker all over the world. I got a lot of connections, good connections like yourselves. I was collecting business cards. I always have them in lists. So I brought all my business cards from Syria. I established a network. Now I have 7,000 persons, companies in my network, and I am doing a commercial broker. I have a lot of investments. I have a lot of investors around the world, and I am doing the matchmaking, and we are getting money. So networking, similar events, we should take the maximum of benefit of it. And it's not only attending, eating, drinking, it's nice as well. But believe me, networking is number one. So we should focus on it. And I think that my story applies in EU, it's worldwide. And it's, you know, it's my worldwide connections which made me stand up again on my feet. I only wanted to conclude with something that I always like to say. Maybe most of you know it. There were 5 frogs sitting on around a lake, and 4 decided to jump into the water. So how many were left? Everybody will say 1, but the answer will be 5 because they decided, but they didn't take action. They didn't jump. So whenever you decide, jump. Thank you so much.
Excellent. And do continue being to be one. Huh? I think that's very important. Last and by no means least, can I call on Mrs. Solange Domey, CEO and founder at Afric.
Thank you. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My voice is a little bit slow this morning, but I hope you can hear me. I'm so honored and so grateful to be part of this movement. I didn't know it exists, so shame on me. So due to the time and the short notice, I will only talk about me, say a few things about me. How did I end up in front of you here? I own a business company, Afric. Within Afric, we organize trade missions. We provide financial services to Dutch companies and African companies that do business together, and we help them in many ways to achieve the business or achieve their project in Africa. And I'm honorary consul of Chad, 38 years old, and I am the only one honorary consul from Chad. So how does it happen? It is not magic. I just made up my mind that I wanted to do something better with my life than just having a normal job, having a regular life. So I believe every one of us, all of you, we have those dreams, and sometimes we don't know how. There is no magic. Commitment, hard work, that's everything that will get you there. A little anecdote. I like networking. As you can see, I'm here. And we met during a network with Susay. And so I present myself mainly to females and men, but most of the time only meet men doing business. And so I give my cards. Sometimes they will just overlook, and then they will get back to me. Oh, so you work at the consulate? No, I'm the honorary consul. So just to tell you, keep up your dreams. Just hold on to it. You will have challenge. You will have many things thrown at you, but never give up. If you believe to it, you will achieve it. And I'm so grateful that this is possible, that this event has been organized in Den Haag, enabling us to meet, and I hope to have the opportunity to exchange with you later on. And thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you very much. Well, we've certainly had a lot of food for thought, and I think it's all in the honor of our speakers that you've all stayed so quiet for so long. So well done. We've almost finished. Please stay with us for just a few minutes more, because we would like to honor our distinguished guests. So I would like to call on Harbin and Sukai, who are going to present an award to each of our guests. And very importantly, they are going to tie the thread of energy and sisterhood, brotherhood, a ceremony known as the Shakti Bandhan, where we share energy for protection and well-being. So please just stay with us 1 minute, right?
And we'll give it and then just give them.
Do I call people out, or
we will give them because of time. We will just
we just give it to them?
Present the award.
Offline, we will just do this.
Right.
Yes, absolutely. That's good.
Shall I call out the names then?
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Right. Can I have an order here, so I shall keep to the order. His Excellency Alphonsus Tulinga.
Yes.
Oh, we need to, yes.
Yep, I'll get it.
If we stand here with them all, bring them all up.
All right, and we will get.
Yes.
Yes, very good.
Thank you.
We'll do the tying later, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, just bring them all.
Stand with me in full Shakti of each other.
So this is basically saying I stand with you in full Shakti. So now he is part of the
full Shakti.
sisterhood and brotherhood that we have. Yes.
Ready?
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Really
I don't want
appreciate your presence here. Thank you, thank you.
His Excellency Mr. Mukul.
You can tie.
Okay, I will tie this one for you.
So we celebrate on 5th of October every year, Shakti Bandhan. But it's for all seasons, all reasons, all the time.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much for your presence. Thank you so much.
His Excellency Mr. Diop.
Yes. I will tie this one.
We will tie the band for you. It's called Shakti Bandhan.
So now we stand united as brother and sister.
Stand with you without power.
Oh, okay, I need that. Thank you so much.
That's good.
Thank you.
C'est à vous maintenant.
Thank you.
His Excellency Mr. Karambaranga.
Yes.
It's handmade. Yes, we made it at home.
They're handmade, I hear.
Yes. Handmade.
Shakti Bandhan. We are together empowered by each other's energy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your presence. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Her Excellency Judge Sanji.
We are bonded forever
Yes.
in love and sisterhood.
There you go.
Her Excellency Judge Joyce.
I will tie this one for you.
It matches with your dress.
Yes, perfect.
Yes.
Sorry, it's okay. All right.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Mr. Phillips.
I'll take the honor. This ties us in sisterhood and brotherhood.
Yes.
Stand together
I'm glad to gain a brother.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Mrs. Hack.
And there you go. Now you have a new sister. She will try that.
This is called Shakti Bandhan. Shakti means the divine feminine. This is the bond of the divine feminine. Yes. Because women absolutely.
You didn't know you were going to have sisters and brothers today, did you?
It was really wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mrs. Verhoef Cohen.
Right, I will tie this one. Okay. Yes. Now we are bonded as sisters in divine energy to do great things in the world. Okay. Yes, there we are.
Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Mrs. Yasmina Azari.
Can I only add that I was nominated 3 times by Forbes Economic Magazine among the strongest 50 businesswomen in the Arab world. I forgot to mention.
Ah, wonderful. My dear sister.
Thank you.
You have great energy. Now we join. Yes.
In the Arab world.
Spread the light.
Thank you. Yes, we have three.
And Mrs. Solange Domey.
We're still doing the photo, right?
You can do the sisterhood. She's already my sister.
It's available for everyone to pick it up.
And we will have Shakti for everyone. So later we will do Shaktis. You can find a new sister, find anybody. So it's okay. We will do the ceremony also for everyone outside. Thank you. Yes.
Right, we are going to be taking a group photo, but I have been asked to explain again how it's going to happen afterwards for the sessions. So every hour there is a new session. There are 5 going on in parallel. 4 in rooms called Kilimanjaro 1, Kilimanjaro 2, Yangtze 1, Yangtze 2, and 1 in this room. So where there's written plenary, for this room, from now on, it just means that this is the room where theme number 5 will be discussed. We are going to take a photo here.
Yes.
Here. We're going to all take a photo here.
Yes.
And then if you grab just a coffee or a tea and go as rapidly as you can to your next destination so that we try to get back into our schedule. Thank you very much.
And we will stand in the front
Yes.
here and take pictures. All of us.
But then we'll just you lot? Yeah.
You can come on. Yes.
Right. I do need, I mean, he wants us to go straight on, but I do need a coffee.
Yep, you can have your awards in front of you.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, I should give my
Closer.
That's here.
Great.
Harmonizing cultural identities and aspirations. That's here. Yeah. So just grab a coffee or a tea and we'll be starting. Ooh, I'll plug it off. So the sessions will start in 5 minutes. Please take your coffee and your tea and move to wherever you're going to be next.